Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of An Introvert Speaks, a show where an introvert speaks about what's on his mind. Today's date is October 22nd, 2020, and this is episode 2 of the podcast. If I haven't already said that already, I don't know. My mind's kind of wondering these days. A lot on my mind, but hey, it's October. It's a chill month, weather-wise and overall. So with that out of the way, we got a lot of things to talk about today. We got food, movie recommendations, this season's anime, video games, and a lot of things. So this will be like an interesting podcast episode. But before we get all that into all the good stuff, so be sure to follow my social media pages. I got Instagram at Sights for Eyes. That's Sights SIGHTS, the number 4, and eyes, EYES. And I also have a Twitter, which I barely use, also Sights for Eyes. That's again SIGHTS, the number 4, and EYES. And also follow me on, just like and subscribe on YouTube. I beginning to post on YouTube a bit more regularly now. I'm coming out with a new series called Introvert Plays, where I play video games that I like and enjoy. Interesting things. It's taking off. But in any case, before I ramble on more and more, be sure to find me on YouTube at Sights for Eyes. Again, that's Sights for Eyes, same spelling, SIGHTS, the number 4, and eyes, EYES. And be sure to follow my Facebook group, An Introvert Speaks. Okay? And so, with that out of the way, if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to like and share this around and rate it. Okay? I'm trying to do more with the podcast, and honestly speaking, this is more like a hobby for me. Like, I'm not really expecting like this podcast to take off or anything like that, or like my YouTube channel, but if it does, well, thank you for helping me get the word out and everything. But I just started An Introvert Speaks because, like, I'm an introvert and I have a lot to say and a lot to share, but I usually tend to just keep it to myself. Let's just say it that way. So this is a way to just express myself, to let me speak and share some of the stuff that I enjoy with whoever's listening. So okay. So with that out of the rambling, so the topics today. First, just small talking out the way. It's October. So October is my favorite month of the year. Many reasons why I like October. It's finally cool weather. Like, thank goodness. Like, contrary to what many people like and feel, I do not like the summer months at all. I do not like feeling hot at all. Like, I joke about this, but it's also kind of true. During the summer months, I tend to hibernate indoors. That's how much I dislike the heat. And well, I've been hibernating indoors mostly because of the pandemic, but there's not much I can do about that. Just hoping that the pandemic is over soon. Please wear your mask. Please? Okay. So October's my favorite month because of the seasons, the foods, the atmosphere, the sky. I just enjoy October like a lot, and there's also like a lot of new things that comes out during October, like new shows, new music, new games, things like that. And I'm an October person, and also my birthday is in October. When's my birthday is, if you know me, you would know. So I'm sorry, but yeah, my birthday's in October, so that's another reason why I enjoy the season. And yeah, October and Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays because I just love the atmosphere of Halloween. Like, the scary stuff, cute pumpkins, witches, and things like that, werewolf, Halloween lore, things like that. I've always been fascinated with Halloween. Now, that's not to say that like, I go trick or treating. I stopped trick or treating like a long time ago. I don't dress up anymore. Things like that. Things like that. Yeah, I stopped doing that like middle school or even in elementary. It's been a long time. I'm not old, yeah, but it's been like since I was like in public education, since I was doing those kind of stuff. But I just love like the atmosphere, the lure, the allure of Halloween. So where was I going with this? Halloween. Yeah, Halloween. It just October is one of my favorite months of the year. So it's spooky season. Woo. Okay, and without further delay, with the quick stuff out the way. Uh, so let's start with the first topic on the list, which is food. So I've been learning about foods, and I'll call this section what I'm currently learning. What I'm currently learning. Okay, so lately I've been learning a lot more about Japanese culture. I've always been interested in Japanese culture since at a young age, since like age 13. And so I've been brushing up on my Japanese speaking skills and learning a lot more about the culture, like primarily the food, history, cities, locales, things like that. So one of the more interesting things I came across is Japanese foods. I've been learning about Japanese food lately, and today I'll speak to you all about today's topic on what I'm currently learning is a Japanese food called okonomiyaki. So, okonomiyaki is a savory Japanese pancake that is grilled using leftover ingredients. Now, when I say pancake, it's not like the typical American or Western sweet pancakes. Or if you're a Chinese listener, it's not the pancake that you would see on served by street vendors. If anything, okonomiyaki is more closely to the Korean food pajon, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right. So, more about okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki can be made in. It's a Japanese food. Yes, I keep repeating myself. Okonomiyaki can be made in many different ways, such as using dried vegetables, and you can make your own spin on it. However, for it to be considered okonomiyaki, the main ingredients are needed are flour, eggs, tempura scraps, shredded cabbages, and a choice of proteins such as chicken or pork belly. Okonomiyaki is also topped with a condiment of a person's choice, such as Japanese mayo or dried seaweed or something like that. And so, how the food okonomiyaki got its name? So okonomi in Japanese means whatever you want or whatever you like, and yaki means grilled. So basically, okonomiyaki means what you like grilled. So there isn't a single way to make okonomiyaki as long as the main ingredients are present, but it's often it's grilled. It's a grilled food. Yeah, it's grilled. Healthy, healthy food, I would say, or I would like to think it's healthy. Like no oils, no fat, or not too many fat. So yeah. Um, so okonomiyaki first began as early as in the Edo period of Japan, which is between 1683 and 1868, where it was introduced as a special dessert served at Buddhist ceremonies, where it was called funoyaki. And throughout the time periods of Japan, the dish changed many times. It was changed in many ways until what it was now known as okonomiyaki during World War II. So rice was scarce during the war, and so people had to scrape together whatever ingredients they can gather to cook the food. And so after the war, people began to include other ingredients into okonomiyaki, such as eggs, dried seaweed, mayo, which is like the foundation of what the okonomiyaki is to this day. There are different types of okonomiyaki though. There's Kansai okonomiyaki and there's a Tokyo okonomiyaki. In fact, there's a rivalry between Tokyo, Osaka, and Hiroshima about who has the best okonomiyaki, where each city of the three, Tokyo, Osaka, and Hiroshima, has their own signature okonomiyaki dish. Okay, so I've only had okonomiyaki once, and that was when I visited Tokyo during summer 2019. And from what I tasted it was very delicious, and I recommend giving it a try and cooking it for yourself. But would I say it's the most delicious thing or the most delicious okonomiyaki? I can't say right now because I've only had Tokyo okonomiyaki. But I'm sorry. So sorry if you had to hear that. So yeah, I just dropped my USB. But anyway, okonomiyaki. I'm more interested in tasting Osaka's okonomiyaki, mainly because I'm a fan of anything relating to Osaka. So I'm a huge Osaka fan. Like anything about the city, like pictures, sights, comedy, things like that. The accent. I really like Osaka, and I really hope to visit Osaka in the near future. And when I visit Osaka in the near future, I definitely have to give their okonomiyaki a try. So if you're, so that's it for what I'm learning about today. What I'm currently learning. Of course, I'm always learning. There's other things I'm learning about, like more Japanese foods, cities around the world, cultures, language. If you're interested in learning more about Japanese dishes or want to learn more about what I'm learning, leave a comment in a YouTube video or on my Facebook page at Introvert Speaks. And if you're listening from Japan, tell me which okonomiyaki do you think is the best? Tokyo, Osaka, or Hiroshima? Okay. So now let's move to the next topic, movies. So I've been trying to get into movies lately. Well, I'm already into movies, but it's better to say I'm not a big movie watcher. I'll sit down every now and then to watch movies, but in any case, before I ramble on, so because this is October month, I decided to watch some scary movies. So, well, movies that are relating to Halloween or the theme of horror. So, the first movie I will talk about is a movie that I have never seen before, that is very popular, and yet I have not watched it for like many years. Okay, so the movie I recently watched is A Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, I know. Many people talk about A Nightmare Before Christmas, especially like when I was in high school and university. They say it's like this awesome movie. It's a good movie. It's a classic. And I've never watched it. I've heard of it, and I know Jack Skellington, but everything else about that, I don't know anything about it. So, Nightmare Before Christmas this year, 2020, was the first time I've actually seen A Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, but what I think of it. First, a brief synopsis of the movie. So, Jack Skellington is the king of Pumpkin Town, which I think they should have named Halloween Town, but I digress. So Jack Skellington is a king of Pumpkin Town. He becomes bored of the typical Halloween tradition, and during a night walk, he stumbles upon a forest that leads into other holiday worlds, such as Easter World and Valentine World. So he decides to go into Christmas World, which is named Christmas Town. And he discovers the wonders of Christmas, like snow, presents, Christmas trees, and things like that. And so he has an idea to bring the ideas of Christmas to Pumpkin Town and reinvent Halloween. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so The Nightmare Before Christmas is a musical stop motion animated movies. So I I wouldn't say I didn't know it was a musical because I do know like certain songs from it just offhand listening like this is Halloween, this is Halloween. Yeah, I know that song that um I didn't know how big or how much singing that they did in that movie. So I'm not big on musical, but I actually found this movie to be entertaining for what it is. So Nightmare Before Christmas, I enjoy the art style and the designs. The designs reminds me of an old cartoon show I used to watch while growing up called Real Monsters. It was an old Nickelodeon show where monsters living in the sewers and they go to school to be like the best scary person or the best scary monster ever and things like that. I recommend checking out that old show. So anyway, I like the incorporations of what makes Halloween Halloween in that movie, such as they had Dracula's werewolf, which was my favorite character in the movie, and some original designs, or like I think it's originals, like the mayor with the revolving face. Fun fact, or I actually thought that the mayor was going to be the villain because he had two faces, like a face in front of him and a face behind him. But it turns out that he's not the villain, and I'm trying my best not to spoil this movie. So, admittedly, I enjoyed a few of the musical songs, such as like "This Is Halloween" and "What's This." And while I do find the movie entertaining, I have some issues with the movies. That there are some things that kind of that cannot really be considered a classic. Okay, so one of the things, or actually two things, I didn't like about the Nightmare Before Christmas was how the main villain named Oogie Boogie, he just feels like that he was just tacked on like hey, we needed a villain in this movie, so they just kind of just put him in there, and like we don't know much about Oogie Boogie. Like we know that he's this big bad person that's almost everyone in Halloween. I'm gonna call it Halloween Town, Pumpkin Town. That almost everyone in Pumpkin Town is afraid of. And other than that, he's this big bad villain, and he got his scenes here and there. We don't really know too much about him. Like, why is he evil? Is he just evil for the sake of the evil? Like, what's his origin? Well, we kind of find out his origin like towards the end of the movie, but it was just like a short scene. And yeah, I feel like the character Oogie Boogie could have used some spotlight and more, see him more. And another thing I don't like is the romance between the main character Jack Skellington and the character named Sally. It just feels like it was tacked on. Like yeah, we know that like at the beginning of the movie that Sally liked Jack, but it's just more like a notice me senpai. It's kind of like this crush from afar thing. Like she's known Jack for like I don't know how many years or something like that, and she only interacted with him like twice or three times during the movie. I don't know, too few times to even warrant like a romance. And so like the romance development between Sally and Jack was hardly there. But like yeah, she does one nice thing for Jack, and then she helps him with his Halloween Christmas project. But other than that, oh, and she tries warning him about a situation that happens in the movie. But other than that, there's really not any romance development except for like one scene towards the end of the movie, which I feel is kind of cheap. I'm trying not to spoil it, but at the same time, if you watch the movie, I'm pretty sure you know what I mean, or hopefully. I'm not okay. So I'm not expecting people to agree with me or like put your pitchforks down. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's a movie that has some flaws and things like that. So yeah, so I'm not talking crap about like Nightmare Before Christmas or anything. So calm down, calm down. But um, another thing I didn't like, a flaw I saw in the movie, is the final confrontation between Jack and Oogie Boogie. Like that was like the shortest confrontation between a hero and a villain I've seen in a while. So, if you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment on the YouTube video of this podcast or on the Facebook group and let me know what you think about the confrontation between Jack and the Oogie Boogie. Okay, so but I'm not saying like again, I'm not saying that I dislike the movie. Like I've already said, like I found it entertaining for what it is. Like what I like about the movie is like how straightforward the plot was, and that there were hardly any filler scenes found in the movie. Like it's very straightforward. We don't see like how Jack starts his day, what's his favorite cup of tea, or what kind of food he does, or like the everyday life of like the people of Pumpkin Town, things like that. Fillers in movies, I don't like. Like I would rather like I'm all for like character development and story and world building and things like that, but I also want the movie to just like move along, like say what it has to say, make it entertainment, and like don't waste any time with like any like filler stuff, like not needed information, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so you can tell I'm not a movie connoisseur or something like that. Anyway, I like how straightforward the plot of the movie is, man. But at the same time, I also think that the straightforward plot is a trade-off for the lack of development for the main villain and the romance between Jack and Sally. So, is The Nightmare Before Christmas is a masterpiece film, like everyone says? In my opinion, it's not a masterpiece, but it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie to watch. I recommend watching. I recommend giving the movie a watch, and it's certainly a movie for all ages. Well, like I would say, if you're listening, if you have like any young children or family members, I would say at the age of 6, it was that's a good movie to introduce them to. So yeah, it's a movie definitely for like all ages and things like that. And yeah, so by the way, yeah, so leave a comment on the YouTube video of this podcast on your thoughts or interpretation of like the new tradition of like Halloween for Pumpkin Town, and what will you think will happen to the tradition of Halloween in the movie. And by the way, people, this is this age-old debate of like, is Nightmare Before Christmas, is it a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? In my opinion, it's a Halloween movie. Yeah, there's just no way around it. It's like there's more focus on Halloween than Christmas in this movie, which is like, don't get me wrong, like the Christmas scenes that had like the Halloween vibe, like action stuff in there, was cool. But I would say The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie, not really a movie that you want to play on Christmas time. But people still do that. But hey, it's like you do what you do, and like I'm not against it being a Christmas movie or anything like that. But in my opinion and feeling, it's a Halloween movie. Okay, so the next movie I've watched recently is a Japanese movie called Audition. Okay, so a brief synopsis of the movie. So, Audition is a horror psychological movie with uh some criticism to Japanese society embedded in the movie. It's I want to say it's a 1998 or 1999 movie. Okay, so anyway, so the brief synopsis of the movie Audition. It's a middle-aged widower named Shigeharu Aoyama is urged by his teenage son to remarry, but Shigeharu thinks that it will be difficult for him to find such a person who would be willing to marry him because like he's middle-aged and yeah, by that time finding a relationship or romance is kind of difficult. So Shigeharu's friend Yasuhisa, who is a movie producer, offers to help Shigeharu to find a new wife by having a mock casting audition for a fake movie where women would be auditioning for the main role in the movie. But the women who are auditioning does not know that the whole thing is fake. That it's just helping Shigeharu find like a romance partner to marry. Okay. So during the course of the audition, Shigeharu learns about a young woman auditioning named Asami Yamazaki, and he fell in love with her from what he read about on her resume in her audition interview. So Shigeharu decides to pursue a relationship with Asami and to get to know her more. However, it seems Asami has a few secrets that she's not telling anyone. So this is definitely a horror movie, a psychological movie, and first of all, I would say this movie's more so recommended for people who are ages 18 and older. So yeah, there's some nudity in the movie, but it's just like brief nudity, like maybe like 2-3 seconds of nudity. That's it, and it's just like maybe one or two scenes. But I would say like the rating is for 18 and older. It's because the stuff they showed in this movie, especially towards the end, can be quite graphic and unsettling to some people. And Asami is definitely an interesting character. Like again, I'm not trying to go into like spoiler territory and anything like that, but Asami has her problems. Like her past has affected her well into adult age. Like she's a young adult. I forgot how old she is. I want to say that in the movie she's 24 or 25. And yeah, she has experienced a lot as a child, and her dream was to become like a famous ballet dancer or to become involved with dance as a career. Like she wanted to go to London or something, the UK, to study dance. But an unfortunate tragedy happened during her childhood that caused her to not be able to dance anymore. And what that tragedy is, you watch the movie for you to find out yourself. It's quite sad and also a little disturbing. So the more that Shigeharu learns about Asami, he's more like, oh no, I'm in deep crap. But at the same time, he's giving many ways to turn back from his decision. So his best friend told him like I don't like Asami. Why? But he said like I don't know, but there's something about Asami that I don't like about. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, if a friend tells you that someone you like or have an interest in, that something seems off about that person, please. I'm sorry, and please trust what your best friend says about the person who you have an interest in. I mean, I can't stress this enough. And okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, Shigaharu's friend says like, I don't like Asami. Something's off about her, and then Shigaharu's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Asami is a beautiful girl. She just have a rough, difficult life. That's all. Not. I'm not writing off that like having a rough, difficult life is like bad or anything like that. Like I'm not writing it so like everyone has like they go through some crap at some point in their life. But yeah, I would still say like if something's off and your friends tell you, you should trust your friend and try to follow up also on what your friend says and think, in which Shigeharu does, but he gets in too deep. And I feel sympathy towards Asami because the secret that she's hiding, while disturbing, it's not really entirely her fault because it's just the way that yeah, I would say like this is like again this movie was shown during like the late 90s, like 1998, 1999, somewhere around that time. I would say like during that time in Japan society, it was still mostly misogynistic, and I would say not giving away too much, but Asami suffered through abuse when she was a child from like many men, like the males that she encountered in her life. She suffered abuse of some form and some kind, and without the proper help that she didn't receive that she needed, it kind of warped her mind into what it is as it's shown in a movie to that day. Okay, and so to finish off this movie, like really, I recommend watching this movie. But again, if you're not about gore or like torture and things like that, I would refrain from watching this movie. And so so Audition, I recommend watching the movie. Okay. And so that's all for the movies. One other movie I plan on watching is the movie Caroline. It's another stop motion animated movie. I've seen some previews and clips and pictures on it online, and it's always been a movie that's been on my watch list. But hey, this year I'm just doing things that like I've always wanted to do. Like no use in putting things off till later. Just do it now. Just get to it. Okay, so the next part of the segment of this podcast are the video games. So lately I've been playing video games. Like I've been playing video games lately, and one video game that's fitting for this month of Halloween is a game called Death Come True. So Death Come True is an FMV or full motion video game, and it's currently out for the Switch, Android, iOS, Windows on Steam, and it's coming out soon for the PS4. So Death Come True is created by Kazutaka Kodaka. It's the same person who created Danganronpa, along with the same person who made the music for Danganronpa series, Masafumi Takada. Death Come True stars famous actors from Japanese media, such as Chiaki Kuriyama. So Chiaki Kuriyama is you may know her. The name, if the name sounds familiar, you would know her from Takako from the movie Battle Royale, and she also played as Gogo from Kill Bill Volume 1. Chiaki Kuriyama is also a singer for one of Gintama's opening songs. And yeah, so she's like a very popular actress, and she stars as like the second main role in Death Country. And so it's also starring Yuki Kaji, who you again, if this name sounds familiar, you would know Yuki Kaji. Right? He's a voice actor for Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan, Leon from Fairy Tail, Alibaba from Magi, Meliodas from the Seven Deadly Sins, and Koichi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, to name a few. Um, so Death Come True, it gives off okay, so in Death Come True, okay, first, before I go on, the synopsis of the story of Death Come True. So the main character, Makoto, wakes up in a hotel room and discovers that he's a wanted serial killer, but he has no recollection of his crimes, and he doesn't know why he's wanted. Also, he finds an unconscious woman in his room, which is Chiaki Kuriyama, or the actress that yeah, Chiaki Kuriyama. Like, she plays a character. I forgot her name at the moment, but in any case, yeah, Makoto finds her in his room, in his hotel room, unconscious. And so Makoto sets out to discover like the truth behind the mysteries that he's woken up to, like why he's a serial killer, who is this woman, and how did he get inside the hotel. So it's not like a game that like you're actively involved in. It's more like a game that you watch takes place and you make the decisions of what's going to happen. It's like alternate routes, alternate endings kind of game, but there's one true ending. So Death Come True gives it's a game I played a few years ago called 999. So it's a game for the DS, now for the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. But anyway, it gives off 999 vibes, which is like Makoto is stuck in these situations and you have to figure out like what to do or how to solve the puzzle or something like that. Not really like any active puzzles, and there's a specific character that gives off like the 999 vibe, and he's an important part of a character in the story of like Death Come True. But anyway, what I think about the game, Death Come True, it's a good game. The characters are interesting, the music is great, and very good performance by the actors. I like having to make the choices that they make you see, that they pull up in the game to see how the story progresses and the outcomes. Like if it's the wrong choice or a bad choice, the outcomes are always interesting. And while Death Come True is a game that's worth picking up and playing, I think it would be better if Death Come True was seen as a movie or a TV show rather than an FMV game. Like, I think it would be better enjoyed that way rather than just like make this decision or make that decision. Yeah, and like it's a short game. Like it takes 2 hours to beat. Like if you understand why I say it should be a movie or a TV show, it only takes 2 hours to beat the game and to see everything and it gets like the true ending. So yeah, so it is an interesting and good story, but again, it should have been a movie or TV show. And okay, and that's all I have for the notes on Death Come True. And if you play the game, or if you have played it, let me know what you think of the ending. And no spoilers again. Like this is a game, and as with Danganronpa, also no spoilers because this is like a game, or like the story should be like enjoyed without really speaking too much about it. And if you do play the game, one more thing I should mention: no matter how many times you may fail, always continue forward until the end. And I can't stress that enough. Okay, and so the next game I've been playing lately, and I should get back into, is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Okay, so this game, I've heard like many people talking about this game that it's a good game. It's like it has one game of the year. It's like worth playing. And honestly, I am not a Zelda fan. Like I played The Legend of Zelda like the very first game, and I had no idea what I was doing and what I was supposed to do. It's just like kind of like a game with no direction, and I didn't really like that too much at the time when I played it. And I played Wind Waker, and while like I enjoyed Wind Waker, I hated the fact that I got so far in the game without saving, and I died in a dungeon, and I had to go all the way back to the Pig Castle, which is like back in the early game, and I lost all my progress. And after that, I didn't play anymore. But that's just my fault. And I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time, but I never really seemed to got into it. And yeah, so giving Breath of the Wild a try, it took me a while to get into it because figuring out the controls, like I didn't know where to go exactly, and I didn't know how the map worked. But the more I play, the more I enjoy it, and the more I enjoy it, the longer I play. So there's been some nights where I stayed up like almost all night until like sunrise just playing it, and there's many funny moments, and it really is an interesting game. And I'm not too far in the game. Don't spoil anything for me. I want to find out myself. And so far, I'm enjoying the story, and I'm enjoying like the trials I have to go through, and like being in the wilderness and things like that, and finding out things of what you can and can't do through trial and error or trial and death. Like, I really did not know that you'll die instantly if you get in cold water. They have cold water physics in this game. But yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild, I'm enjoying it a lot, and I've got to get back into it like as soon as possible. And like, there's like all these other games. Like it's October going on November, and I've already said to myself that like there's a few games on my list that I want to beat before I get into anything else on the Switch. So like yeah, I'm playing a few games or trying to get a few games out the way that I began in January and just put it off for too long. So I'll be playing Breath of the Wild on the side while I get rid of finish some other games I've been playing, like Valhalla, and I definitely need to finish Phoenix Wright. I'm on the third game, about 2 cases away from completing the game, but I digress. And another game I've been playing lately is I've started playing a game called Undertale. Undertale is an indie game made by a person named Toby Fox. And I've been hearing about Undertale for like a while, since like a few years ago, and this is a way of like how like my thinking has matured in like different areas. Like I'm not one like when I first heard about like Undertale, I didn't really like it too much because like I didn't like playing indie games too much because like it's always like the same thing over like the same 8-bit or 16-bit graphics, and like they're trying to be like all artsy and stuff like that, and like yeah, it just kind of turned me off. This was like back in, I want to say 2014, 2015. Yeah, just hearing about Undertale, and then like one of the main premises of Undertale is that you can fight or you can like go through the whole game without fighting. And I think many people were saying like, don't fight, don't fight. Like this game teaches like mercy and being passive and like in everything. And like things like that, like at the time, 2015, I was thinking, what is this, Steven Universe? And again, put your pitchforks and don't call it angry mob, but I do not like Steven Universe at all. And so Undertale was giving me like Steven Universe vibes. And so I was just like rather like, no, this is not my cup of tea. So earlier this month I saw Undertale. Actually, was it last month? Recently, I saw Undertale on sale in the Nintendo eShop, and I just decided, why not? It's for sale, and so I bought it and just left it alone. And just recently, I picked it up and started playing it, and so at first it was like okay, and like okay, good music, I'm a big fan of music. The music got me in, like it drew me in, and I just wanted to see more of what's going on. And at first Undertale frustrated me because like the battle mechanics, it's like an RPG but also like what they call bullet hell, which is like you do a selection to attack an enemy or something like that, and between turns there's like this small box in the middle of the screen, and it's like all these damage coming at you, and you're like this tiny heart, and you're supposed to like dodge all the bullets or something like that, like these tiny dots from getting hit. If you get hit too many times, you die. You have to start, and you start back from your last save points. So I was under the impression that like you're not supposed to fight at all in this game, even though it's an option. And so for the most part, except for one battle, I didn't fight at all. I just talked to the enemy, spare them, and once they're happy, I would spare them. The battle was over, and I was getting all these gold coins but no experience points. I was just like, this is difficult, and I also kept dying a lot. I was just saying, this is difficult and stupid. Like, why would I play something like this? And oh yeah, I should also mention, um, in the dungeons, there are like puzzles you have to solve, and like they tell you ways to solve it, but they explain it in a roundabout way, like don't step on the leaves, or did you see the leaves and like push, or this button, or this. Yeah, it's just like clues of like solving each puzzle in a dungeon. And yeah, where was I going with that? I forgot where I was going with that. Well, anyway, with the dungeon puzzles, like some are like a little difficult, but like just like playing Undertale at first really frustrated me, and I'm like, screw this game. But then like a few nights ago, I decided like, let me give it like another try, and then eventually, like gradually, I started like after doing more research about it, saying like you can fight, and that there's another right. Not fighting unlocks like another route or something like that to an ending towards the end of the game. And so I'll just like decide like, okay, I'll play however I want to play it. So I named my character Frisk, Frisk, and I'm just going along like solving. I solved the dungeon puzzles. I was fighting the creatures, the monsters in the dungeons as I saw fit, and I got to a certain part in the game where you're supposed to kill or fight a character. Well, you're fighting a character and you're supposed to kill this specific character, and I didn't want to kill this character, so I spared this character. And I just so happened to unlock a hard mode, which I didn't know that this would happen. And so right now the game is stuck on hard mode, but from what I've read, once I beat the game at a certain part, then I'm finished with hard mode, and then I have to reset the game to a new file and proceed from there. And it's it's fun and it's funny to think about, and it's more like a middle finger to the player. It's kind of like it's all in good fun though. So like yeah, so Undertale I'm enjoying and I want to play again. And in fact I'll probably play it later today. So yeah, Undertale, it just goes to show you, like, you just gotta give some things a try, and kind of get your feet wet. Don't be closed-minded or about things and things like that, and just kind of come with like things for the open mind. So yeah, you can see like how much like my mindset has changed over the year. Not to say that I was a closed-minded person. No, I'm a very open-minded person. But at the same time, it's just like I like what I like, or like just be turned away if it's explained at a certain way. So, rather than just like listen to like reviews and what people say about something, I'd rather just go out and see it for myself in terms of like media, like movies or games and stuff like that. So, case in point, and to wrap this segment up, Undertale, definitely a good game. I recommend it. Okay, there are other games I'm playing, like the new Pokemon DLC dropped today. I'll give that a try because the first DLC I didn't like too much, to be honest. It was too easy, but at the same time, after playing it a little bit more, the first DLC, yeah, it's okay. I don't hate it as much as I did before, but it's okay. This could have been made a lot better. And at this point, I'm just playing Pokemon for the sake of Pokemon. Like, I like the Pokemon games, the RPG games. The show I have outgrown. I know people saying like the Pokemon anime is better now, but to me, I've kind of out. I will not watch the Pokemon anime. Like, I'm finished with that. Like, yeah, Ash won the Pokemon League and things like that, and but the original Pokemon up until like I want to say third generation of the anime, I just stopped after that. So just the game I just do it. It's just like, yeah, I'm rambling on. Pokemon's another topic for another day. Anyway, so fall anime I've been watching. So as you may know, or my anime watchers out there, every season there's like new anime that come out, and so I have at least 3 recommendations for you today. So the first one is Burn the Witch. So Burn the Witch, I do recommend. It's made by the creator of Bleach, Tite Kubo. If I think that's how you say his name, but like, yeah. Burn the Witch, it's kind of hard to say what the story is actually about, but I'll try my best. So the story is about these 2 girls, Noelle and Nina. They're witches in a place called Reverse London, and I don't know if they're going to a magic school or something like that, but they're witches and they go around solving problems around that happens in reverse London, such as dragons, like getting rid of dragons and things like that. And they have to protect a character named Balgo, which is like he's one of my favorite characters. He's like this innocent guy, often clueless. It was like eh. And just like he has like this pet dog that's also half dragon, and they have to protect him because he's a dragonborn, which I think means that he's half human, half dragon. And so, one of the rules in Reverse London is that everyone should stay away from dragons because, yeah, it's because some kind of thing that happened a long time ago in that universe, and they said anyone who's been seen near a dragon or have any traces of a dragon with them or something like that, they're either jailed for over 100 years or something like that, or they're executed. And so, yeah, so they have like some kind of dragon problem in Reverse London. Man, it's definitely a anime worth checking out. That in Japan it was shown as a movie, but it's on Crunchyroll. They divided it into 3 episodes. It's very enjoyable, and it takes place in the same universe as Bleach. And so, like, at first, it took a while. It took a while for Burn the Witch to grow on me because I honestly think that this should have started at a certain point, kind of like how Noelle and Nina met. More about the magic organization or school they're going to, or something like that. More about Balgo, more about dragons and things like that. So they definitely have a lot of explaining to do. And Noelle and Nina's superior, I think his name is Junior or something like that. He's kind of sus. Yeah, so he's kind of sus. So I'm keeping my eye out on him. Like, of course, there's gonna be more Burn a Witch and season 2 of the manga is coming out next year. So definitely looking forward to more Burn a Witch. And yeah, so Burn a Witch I highly recommend watching. It's just like the first episode just kind of introduces things. The second episode starts the conflict, like the main conflict, and the third one is like where you find out more about what's kind of like the universe of Burn a Witch. So definitely recommend it. You can watch Burn a Witch at Crunchyroll.com. Before I go any further of the anime section, I am not being sponsored. So like all these mentions of like websites and where to watch it and things like that. Crunchyroll is not sponsoring me. Funimation is not sponsoring me. This is all just from like a fan perspective. So yeah. So no sponsors for this video. But Funimation, Crunchyroll, if you're watching, please, I wouldn't mind sponsoring you, but that's another story. Anyway, so another anime I recommend is Moriarty the Patriot. So if you're familiar with the author Arthur Conan Doyle's work, he's the author of Sherlock Holmes, then the name Moriarty will be familiar to you. The anime is set in the late 19th century, and it's about a nobleman named William Moriarty and his brothers Louis and Albert. I think, well, one of his brother, I think Louis is his brother, or Albert his brother. In any case, what Moriarty does, he and Louis and Albert go around and solve problems of anyone in need, with William acting as a criminal consultant. However, there's a twist. You see, in this anime, the main character is the main antagonist. So everything is seen through the eyes as the main antagonist. While William helps solve the crimes for the victim, He also allows a victim to extract revenge upon those who have wronged them. His motives for doing this is, as of the first episode, his motives for doing this is not clear. So it'll be interesting to find out where the story will go, especially if Sherlock Holmes is going to be involved. It's a mystery, psychological, and historical anime, and is currently set for 24 episodes, with 12 episodes this season and another 12 episodes during the spring season of next year. And you can watch this anime on the Funimation website. Okay. And another anime I've been watching is an anime called Akudama Drive. So about this anime, so long ago a war broke out in Japan that pitted against the Kanto region and the Kansai region, and it divided the country. So the Kansai region became dependent on the Kanto region, but slowly the police and the government began losing control to Kansai to criminals known as Akudama. Okay, so I think currently, as of this recording, 3 episodes are out, but I've only seen the first episode so far. So the first episode doesn't give a lot of information that is needed, so I'll do my best to explain. So Akudamas are wanted criminals who are seemingly named after their criminal profession, and they have their prison sentence based on the nature of their crimes. For example, there's a character named Courier who has a prison sentence of 745 years, and based on that, I think he transport illegal stuff towards different criminals. And some questions I have about this anime is like, for example, how is the title of Akudama earned, and what determines the length of their sentence? So hopefully these two important information will be disclosed as the anime continues. But overall, the first episode was flashy and it hooks your attention. The character designs are great, and I like the character interactions for the most part. They have a colorful personality. The music is good, but I don't like the music played at the end of the episode. It's not my taste in music, and I'm a person who likes music a lot. Okay, so the anime sets things up for the first episode. Set things up for like how the anime will likely be from here on out. So without spoiling too much, 4 Akudamas receive a mission in where they must compete to be the first to rescue a criminal named Cutthroat from public execution. The person who manages to rescue Cutthroat will receive 100 million yen. And during the competition of rescuing the Cutthroat character, the main character, or the person who I think is the main character, was arrested for a small crime of swindling. Although it was not her intention of like swindling. That it was just like one big misunderstanding, which is really just one big misunderstanding. And so she went to the police department to clear things up. However, while she was at the police department, the Akidamas who was competing to release Cutthroat stormed the building. And so the main character got involved with their competition. That she was close to being killed until she said like, oh no, I'm a wanted criminal also. And this is like, why haven't we heard of you? And she was like, oh, because I'm so good, I've been off the radar for a while. And I'm like, makes sense. So how she got involved, she was trying to rescue a cat because she likes cats or cares for animals first. Yeah, she likes cats and cares for animals, but her actions of saving the cat, it was a black cat, by the way, gotten her into more and more trouble. And so it starts off like everything's like typical, but then at the end of the episode, like the last 3 minutes of the episode, everything just got turned upside down. So it's definitely not an anime that you think it is. So Akudama Drive can be Akudama Drive can be seen on the Funimation website, and I recommend checking it out. And I'll watch the other 2 episodes at some point. And the last anime I will recommend to you is Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, so Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely going to be like my anime of the season, at least until Attack on Titans, the final season comes out in December. But Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely like my top anime and my top recommendation for the anime season. So Jujutsu Kaisen, it's about a boy. He's like the main character. Hold on for just a second. What is his name? Jujutsu Kaisen is okay. Okay, so Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, so Yuji. So the main character, Itadori, is a high schooler. Um, he's very strong. He's very athletic, but he just wants to have a normal high school life. And one day his grandfather passes away, but before he passes away, his grandfather told him that he told Yuji to if there's anything, protect people. And so Yuji just took it upon himself that he needs to protect people. And so the same day his grandfather passed away, his school became under attack. That like his friends were being attacked by some demons, and so he rushes in to help them, along with a character named Megumi. And so while they successfully help his friends, another demon comes out and attacks. And in order to like gain the power to save Megumi for being from being killed, Itadori ate a finger of a very strong demon, and so he became half demon. And so I'm probably explaining this all wrong, but it's so like he's now half demon, and now what he must do is that he must join up with like a magic academy or a sorcery academy and go around Japan to find out other parts of the demon, and so they can get rid of the demon, things like that. Yeah, I'll probably explain this wrong, but it's a very good anime, like good action, very good animation, good it's an all around good anime. Like my favorite character is like the teacher, Satoru Gojo. Satoru Gojo. Yeah, he's like the Kakashi of the group. So like if I were to compare this anime to, don't get me wrong, it's an original anime, but there's like it kind of gives off like vibes of like Bleach with like the hollow stuff, and kind of like a Naruto vibe, where like that Yuji, Megumi, and another character that joins along, they're their first years, and their teachers, Satoru, which is like the Kakashi. He wears like blindfolds and things like that, and he's very strong, things like that. So it kind of gives me like a Bleach and Naruto vibe, but it does its own thing, and I definitely recommend it. Like good opening songs. I've been listening to that song like apparently from like my music player over 400 times already, and good ending song and good action. Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely an anime I look forward to like every week, like every Friday 2 p.m. I look forward to watching that. So Definitely highly recommended anime to watch this season. Okay, and um, that's almost it for the show. Just small notes. I've been getting back into reading manga, even though where I left off from the anime and where I'm starting from the manga is like a big gap. Been reading My Hero Academia manga lately, and things are getting interesting, and definitely wondering if the direction is going to go in. And Black Clover manga I've been reading, and it's also getting interesting. Right now, they're talking about Asta's past and the demon inside, the devil inside of him. They're talking about that. And there's a new manga by the author of Hitman Reborn. I can't think of the name at the moment, but it's definitely an interesting read. Let me see. New Hitman Reborn. Okay, so the creator of Hitman Reborn, Akira Amano, just recently came out with a new mystery manga, a detective mystery manga called Ron Kamo no Hashi's Forbidding Deduction. And I haven't read it yet, but anything from the creator of Hitman Reborn, Akira Amano, is definitely worth a read. Like I like Hitman Reborn, and the creator also does the character design for Psychopath. So I always look forward to her works. So definitely worth checking out, and I'll probably talk more about it once I get around to reading it. PS5 drops next month, and yeah, PS5 is one of the most looked forward to console system, and I don't buy into the whole console war crap thing, but it's now like competition between Xbox Series and the PS5. Me, what I think of it, I will most likely get a PS5, but knowing, yeah, I'll get a PS5 like next year or 2 years from now. Like halfway through its lifespan. Usually because it's enough time to get the bugs worked out in the system and more good games. Like so far, the only game I'm interested in for the PS5 is Spider-Man Miles Morales game, and I am not going to buy a system just for one game. And yeah, even though the PS5 is backwards compatibility, I rather just play my PS4 and then just wait until more games come up for the PS5. So yeah, for those who are excited about it, I'm excited with you, but yeah, I'll be joining you all on the PS5 in 2 years from now. That's just how it is. Like, I'm not really the person to like jump on like the bandwagon or like what's popular or not. Well, in most cases I'm not. But yeah, so yeah, that's it for that. And that's all that I have for the podcast for today. So if you enjoyed the show, hit the like, rate this show 5 stars because I can't speak right now. I'm tongue-tied. Rate this show 5 stars, and be sure to follow my social media. Again, as my Instagram is Sights for Eyes, SIGHTS, the number 4 and Eyes, EYES, and it's also my Twitter, which I hardly post on there. I'm not a fan of Twitter at all, but in any case, I do have a Twitter, it's Sights for Eyes, also same thing, SIGHTS, the number 4, EYES. And also follow my like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Also Sights for Eyes, SIGHTS, the number 4, EYES. I'm posting more video. I'm beginning to make more content on my YouTube channel where like I'm doing like an Introvert plays where I play video games that I like and video games that interest me. I have a lot of ideas, and recording for like those ideas have already began. So if you follow my YouTube, you'll be seeing a lot more videos in the upcoming days. It's just a matter of time of getting around to it. And don't forget to follow my Facebook page, Introvert Speaks. And if you like this video, or if anything in this video interests you, leave a comment and don't forget to share this video around. Okay, that's all the topics that I have today. So stay safe, stay healthy, good vibes all around, and catch you next time. Peace.